वो केमिस्ट्री से
ये
रिलेट कर।
आप केमिस्ट्री, वही पॉइंट है कि आप अगर कोरिलेट कर सकते हो तो फिर कुछ कोई भी इशू नहीं है, आपको वो केमिस्ट्री डायरेक्शन में लाना है, दैट्स ऑल। ओके, आप अगर वो जस्टिफिकेशन दे सकते हो तो फिर वेल एंड गुड। तो आपका क्या है, आइडिया क्या है साइक्लोन को कैसे आप केमिस्ट्री में रिलेटेड कर सकते हो?
मैम जो उसका फॉर्मेशन का मैकेनिज्म है जिसमें इवापोरेशन और कंडेंसेशन वाली प्रोसेस होते हैं, तो मैम उनको रिलेट कर सकते हैं कि उसका फॉर्मेशन का मैकेनिज्म क्या है और उसका पीछे का रीजन क्या है, मतलब जो तो वो देख सकते हैं। और मैम जो फोर्सेस होते हैं, मैम
Yes,
कोरियोनिस
that
फोर्सेस
is
होते हैं
atmospheric. Yes, that is atmospheric chemistry basically. Yeah, you can do it. No problem. It is only point is that you have to correlate with the chemistry. That's all. Any form of the engineering, this thing. There in that also technology is also involved. You can use that thing also.
जैसे मैम
Yes.
अगर मैम जब एयर मैम पोल से इक्वेटर की तरफ आते हैं तो उसे कोलियोनिस फोर्सेस लगते हैं, तो मैम उस हिसाब से रिलेट कर सकते हैं केमिस्ट्री से, तो ठीक है मैम, से बना सकते हैं।
Yes, yes, yes. You can do it.
थैंक यू।
Okay. Welcome. Yes, rest of the students, hopefully you all are preparing. Okay. You will submit in that time, and so you just a little bit you think it, so that definitely you can either as it is a area, I mean topic is vast, I mean with any topic you have a n number of things are there. Okay, so you can do and give justification to it. That means you give the time. If you give time, definitely you will have a very wonderful idea, innovative ideas it will come. Okay. So last class what we have discussed? लास्ट क्लास हमने क्या डिस्कस किया था? अनन्या श्रीवास्तव, अनन्या, अनन्या नॉट अन्या, अन्य श्रीवास्तव, मिस्टर अन्य श्रीवास्तव, आशुतोष झा, हरिम गुप्ता। ये स्टूडेंट्स, इन जिन लोगों का नाम बुला बोल रही हो तो फिर रिप्लाई दे वो दो वो लोग। ठीक है, दूसरे कोई रिप्लाई देते हैं क्या? व्हाट एल्स? ठीक है, आपको सुबह आवाज सुनाई दे रही है या नहीं? ये सर नो, आवाज पहुंच रही है आप लोगों को? ये स्टूडेंट्स, कोई तो एक रिप्लाई दीजिए।
हम ऑक्सीडेटिव कोरोजन, कोरोजन बाय गैसेस, ये सब पढ़ा था।
अच्छा, और सुबह दूसरे स्टूडेंट क्या हुआ आप लोगों को? किसी पे से ही माइक यूज नहीं कर रहे हो या फिर जस्ट ओनली पुट ऑन योर लॉग इन करके आप कहीं पर चले गए हो? Anyways, it's okay. My duty, I will finish it off. And whether it's up to you what you want in this career of your life. Okay. So corrosion we were discussing. So you discussed about what is corrosion, what is the mechanism behind it, types of corrosion. One type of corrosion types with classification is the dry and wet corrosion. That is means dry means it will be whenever metal surface is close proximity with that of the gas and humidity or the gases, any gases for any gases form, then it will be the corrosion, it will happen. Then electrochemical, there will be electrochemical setup will be there, so that then will be the corrosion reaction it will happen. Okay, so then we discussed about that what is this, the some basic terminology. and then electrochemical series we are using, and then passivation and galvanic series. In the galvanic series, the metal and metal alloys are arranged in a particular order according to their corrosion properties. Means corrosion resistance properties. That means which one, if I take the iron and copper, if I take as a galvanic series, I will make it so that which one it acts as a corroding and on which it will be corroded substances will be deposited. Okay, so that tells about your this the galvanic series. Here we can see that this is the yes, these are the metal and metal alloys are arranged in this the particular order. Okay, so all these things you have already discussed. Then we discussing about that is the, then we talk about what is the major difference between the electrochemical series and the galvanic series. Okay, so those things you have already discussed, and then we will go to the next topic, that is the another type of, as one classification already I have to, this is the classification is the uh, types of corrosion, that means dry and wet. Okay, wet means this is the electrochemical corrosion. So under this electrochemical corrosion also it comes under different types of corrosions. I just want to show you this one. We have discussed this is the, what is this the a chemical or the dry corrosion and the electrochemical corrosions. Okay, this dry corrosion just only we are the whenever close proximity मतलब डायरेक्ट आपको कांटेक्ट या फिर थोड़े अगल बगल में सराउंडिंग में आपका अगर कुछ एटमॉस्फेरिक गैसेस हो या कुछ एनहाइड्रस लिक्विड हो तो तभी करोजन होगा। मगर जब भी आपका ये जो एक दूसरे के से होता है कि दो इलेक्ट्रोड होता है और उसी का कनेक्टिंग मीडिया होता है, तो तब ही हम बोलते हैं उसी को इलेक्ट्रोकेमिकल और वेट करोजन। ओके, सो यही वाला जो वेट करोजन है हमको डिफरेंट जगह में डिफरेंट देखते हैं। जैसे कि हम ऐसे ही अपना विंडो है, नट बोल्ट है, ओके, विंडो में नट बोल्ट हो या फिर आपका कुछ भी ऐसे ही कुछ जो भी सामान हो, इवन ही टेबल हो या फिर बेड हो या फिर आपका कंप्यूटर का वो कुछ सामान हो, ओके, anything, if any there is a, if any two metals, okay, any two metals or alloys are in contact with each other, okay, so after some time the corrosion it will be happens. Okay, so in that case आपका सराउंडिंग में जो भी हो जरूर कुछ ना कुछ ऐसे ही टू मेटल्स, आपका टू मेटल मेटल अलॉय कनेक्ट होगा। जैसे कि आपका, जैसे आप देखो को वाटर टैंक पाइप में, ओके, वाटर टैंक पाइप में आपको देखो कि हम अगर हमारा वो वाटर टैंक पाइप आपका जो लोहे का होता है या फिर स्टील का कुछ होता है, डिफरेंट एलॉय का होता है, आफ्टर सर्टेन पीरियड ऑफ टाइम यू विल सी दैट द टैंक इट इज corroded. Similarly, if you take a glass of water, okay, take a glass of water and one rod or something you can put it on the on this glass, after certain time or certain period of time, 1 to 3 days, you will see slowly there is a degradation, it will be corrosion, it is happening on top of the immense, those it immersing in the water above and below. Okay, so there are differences, so there are different kind of corrosions are there, wet corrosions are there, so that we will discuss about this today. What is the different type of corrosion, electrochemical, the wet corrosion we come across, and why it happens, what is the reason behind it, and how you can later on we will discuss about that, what are the precautions you should take so that you reduce this corrosion. Okay, so we can see here is the electrochemical corrosion. You can see the galvanic corrosion, pitting corrosion, crevice, concentration cell or the aeration corrosion, waterline corrosion, stress corrosion, soil corrosion. Okay, these are the different types of, apart from this, whatever it not mentioned, some other also corrosions are there. I will, if required, I will explain in the meantime. Okay, so then we'll discuss what is this galvanic corrosion. galvanic corrosion or the differential metal corrosion. Galvanic series already we have discussed. That means if two metals, two different metals are in contact and jointly exposed into a corrosive environment. ओके जैसे कि हम इसी में जो ये वाला मेटल ये जो दिस these are the metals you have considered. This is the metals. If you take metal and metal alloy, if you take any of these two metals, okay, any of this metal in this, any of the metal and metal alloy in this series, you can take any two. If that you can keep it in a if any of the this is corrosive environment, that time you will see that one electron it act as a negative, whereas another electron it act as a positive. That means it will be anode, means it will be the corroded it happen, whereas in case of positive this it will be cathode, that is the it will be protected. That means it will be come into the zinc example, zinc and copper. You can see the series here. Zinc is first initially it came, okay. After that zinc you can copper, if they see copper, this is that. Okay, this is a one line as it is the this space is not space is limited. That's why the two line I have written it down. Okay, this is the one line in this case, one after another. For magnesium, here magnesium to that of platinum. Magnesium it is the anode, most anodic part, and platinum is the most cathodic part. Okay, when we take zinc and the copper, in that case what will happen, zinc will act as a anode, whereas copper it as a cathode, means it will be protected. Okay, so zinc and cathode, in that case by seeing that series or by seeing that table we will get to know that which one will be act as a corroding and which one act as a protection. Okay, so in that way you can able to know that. So for example, other example, zinc and silver, iron and copper are this galvanic copper. Okay, so that is called as a, this type of thing if you take is called as the galvanic copper. And then we will already know that what is which one it acts as and which one it is not act as. So it comes about that how you can minimize it, how you can reduce it. Generally you can reduce, we don't take this galvanic couple. Okay, that means if even if we take, we can take and insulate those materials between the two materials. If copper and iron we are taking, then in this there should not be a directly contact with each other. In order to avoid it, we can paint it or we can do something, some of the other insulating material it will be there, so that there will be no contact between these two metals. Okay, so that's why it is not for formation of the galvanic couple it is forming. Okay, so that's why it can be in this way you can avoid the corrosions. And you can see these are the only this very few of these things are mentioned. Okay, apart from this you can be some other alloys also is there. For example, stainless steel, you see the stainless steel different categories are there. Okay, 314, 316 stainless, depending on the where you are the very even if 1-2% of the element if you are adding, accordingly the total the stainless steel properties it is varies. For example, corrosion free stainless, we generally add the carbon content, some amount of the carbon content. You have already studied that one. Okay, so some amount of that, totally properties it will be changes, their mechanical properties, their physical and the the chemical properties is completely changes. That's why stainless steel itself it is a industry system. You see different kind of manufacturer producing, Tata Steel, Jindal, so many are there. Okay, so they the ingredient of preparation, means ingredients of say stainless, that grade is totally varies. Okay, so though it is a normal grade, means one standardized in the market, if you go, the standardized things there. but in the respective company there is a slight variation will be there, and based on that their different synthesis procedure mean manufacturing procedure, they apply for the patent. Patent means a technique in which you the copyright. Similarly, you can tell it that a copyright version means if I file the my manufacturing procedures in this one, my manufacturing steps in this one. So if it is approved, then I will get the royalty of that all things. So that is generally you might be knowing that patent. Yes, and in one of anyone of you heard if it heard, have you heard this the patent?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
अच्छा
ma'am.
ठीक है। वो जैसे कि कॉपीराइट वर्जन जो हम सॉफ्टवेयर रिलेटेड में कॉपीराइट बोलते हैं, तो सिमिलरली जो पेटेंट है आपका, वो जब भी आपका पेटेंट हो जाता है ना, तो आपको लाइफ टाइम आपका बहुत मतलब कि यू विल गेट बेनिफिट। So this, but for approving and doing, there is a thorough procedures are there. So it is okay. This. Okay. So then it comes to this is the for the galvanic. This is this type of corrosion we can call it is a galvanic corrosion. Then we will discuss about what is this the pitting corrosion. Pitting means pit. Okay. It means you will be the striking something. Okay. Pitting corrosions. So where you will see this? कहाँ पर आप देख रहे हो pitting corrosions? Any of this आपका जो metal है, okay? Any of the metal if you have, if there is a small some break or there is some kind of some with the time there is a some of the hole or maybe breaking or broken, and in any way it happen. So in that case you will see as this pitting corrosions. Wherever example you in form of a diagram, if you see here, okay, here this is the diagram, it is there. Okay, so this is the iron metal is there on top of it. Okay, and there is a small hole, means it is a that iron metal, that is the sheet, on top of it is some little bit hole is there. This, okay, that is the broken point, it is there. On top of it we put a one drop of water. Okay, so one drop of water you will put it, then what will happen is there the corrosion, the main corrosion it concept comes is that electrochemical corrosion comes that one part should act as a anode and other part should act as a cathode, and joining between two this any medium means connecting media it is there, that is generally in the liquid stage or in the semi liquid stage. Okay, so that is the thing. So always you keep in mind that whenever you see this kind of structure, that definitely comes that one should be an anode. That means it should be very less of the availability of the oxygen, the area in under which one act as a high exposure of moisture, and in another case the less exposure of moistures. So due to which there will be a difference in the electron movement, it will happen. I mean, obviously there is a chance for the movement of the electrons, it will happens. So in that case, you will see it is the electrochemical, the continuity happen. So that's why the corrosion it occurs. So let us discuss little bit more about it. Okay, so pitting corrosion, it is a non-uniform corrosion which is resulted from a localized spot, which leads to the formation of these pits, cavities, pinholes in the metals. And this also it can be increased with the increase in the corrosions, increases with respect to that of corrosion rate. For example, a drop of water is resting on the metal surface. As I have told you, if you place one drop of water on the metal surfaces, the metal surfaces the which covered the water, सिंस आपको वाटर से कवर हुआ है, तो आपका ऑक्सीजन कंसेंट्रेशन कम है. That means there is a supply of oxygen in that area, it is less. Okay, here in this area it is less. So that means it will be the corrosion, it will be happen. While it is uncovered portion means आपका वाटर ड्रॉप कितना है, जितना एरिया कवर करता है उसी का उतना ही लो ऑक्सीडेशन कंसेंट्रेशन होता है। उसको छोड़कर जो दूसरा जो एरिया है, ऑब्वियसली देखो एयर कांटेक्ट है, मॉइस्चर कांटेक्ट है, so in that case there will be definitely this will be the high oxygen concentration it is there. See this one, this, so whichever area is a uncovered metal surface is act as a cathode, and which is covered by a water, that is the low oxygen concentration, act as a anode along with the surfaces totally this one. Okay, so in that way the anoding, what will happen in the anode, in this stage, what in this area what will happen, the anode, that is the iron metal, it will be oxidized, it will be Fe2 plus, whereas the cathode, this is the means where the amount of oxygen is more, in that case it will be this oxygen taken with this 2 electron from this anode, it will be form the hydroxide form of hydroxide will form, that will be further the net reaction, it will happen this FeOH, that is the iron hydroxide, it will be forming with this, that will be the your rust. Why it happens, the reason behind is that the one area with a high amount of oxygen, another is a less amount of oxygen, so that's why there is a difference in the potential, so that's why in order to maintain the equilibrium, always electron transform from the one place to the another, so during this transformation we are getting the product, or the getting the surface get corroded, so that is called as this the pitting corrosions. Okay, any of the, this is a very localized, we don't need a one, oh, that is the 1 meter of sheet, there it will be corrosion, it will happen, not like that, just simple, you can see 1 centimeter by 1 centimeter. Okay, 1 centimeter to 1 centimeter, this sheet if you take, there itself you can see there is a small micropores are there, so there depending on that, in that area as availability of oxygen less or high, according to that corrosion it will be happen. Okay, so in order to see the micropores, generally we have many kind of microscopes are there. Okay, but in still microscope means you generally we use the light to see it, but still the light wavelength is how much, the beyond the wavelength of the light it is there, then we cannot see it, so that's why there are other techniques are there, electrons we use to see the images also, so that is called as this different kind of electron based techniques, electron based imaging. Okay, so those things, so if you are further interested then we will be discussed, so different techniques according to our requirement, the science is progressing a lot. Okay, so this is called the pitting corrosion. So far we have discussed about the galvanic, pitting, and then now we will be discuss about the crevice. You can see this image, how it is, what is this crevice corrosion, ये आपका है नट बोल्ट है, ठीक है, एक नट है और फिर उसी के साथ जनरली वाशर वी यूज इट, and base this material, if it is a some of this may be the same steel or maybe some of the aluminum, any metal will be there. Okay, so you see this is the two metals are in contact. Okay, two metals are in contact with each other, so there is a definitely as washer is there. Okay, so availability of the environment, it is different in this inside of it and outside of it, so there is a difference in the oxygen supply or this moisture in it, wherever the less moisture it is getting, and this less moisture means it will act as a anode, whereas it is a empty environment means outside it is exposure of the environment, it is happening exposure of the air, ambient air, that act as a cathode. So in that way the similar the reaction it will happen here in this kind of things, iron equal to iron oxidized Fe2 plus, that two electron, whatever two electrons is available, oxygen is undertake and form the hydroxide, so that the net reaction will happen the corrosion product. Okay, generally these two Crevice corrosion it happening in the when the two metallic object in contact with the liquid. That means our the obvious cases you can see in the case of a which area we generally use in the most cases. Generally we household you can see the washroom area, kitchen area, wherever the nut bolt are there. Even if you will see the nut bolt, it is not stainless steel, or the stainless steel means it will take long time, it will not degrade because of anti-corrosion substances it is have it coated on it. But if you case of this iron or maybe the some of the other alloys based nut bolt, you can see just a very less time you will see the substances the like it get corroded easily. You can see the washroom area, you can see the what you call sink and this pipe, whatever you are using, if it is this other than plastic, okay, then you will be definitely you will see the corrosion it is happening. So generally this crevice corrosion it happen in the case of bolt, nut, rivets, and this crevice area lack of oxygen and more of oxygen. So in that way you can get it. Whenever you will having you will ask about the write down about this crevice corrosion in the examination point of view, definitely you should write the chemical equation. Okay, no doubt the basic information you should write, but with the equation you have to answer it. Okay, so this is called the crevice corrosion. Then it comes to the another type of corrosion where we can see in the case of this zinc, if zinc rod immersed in a zinc sulfite or the any of this chlorides, any of the solution, that is here we kept it a zinc chloride solution. After immersed in it, if you keep for some time, okay, sometime means 1 or 2 days or some period of time, you will see that on top of it, whichever the liquid or this solution it is not covered, it act as a it act as a this is the anode, sorry, cathode, and which is inside of it, that is immersed in a liquid media, that is zinc chloride, that it will act as a anode. So then it will be the reaction, it will happen similarly way. That means zinc it will be undergoes the zinc 2 plus, that is zinc ion, and then it will be similar way the reaction it will happen. Okay, so that in the whatever I have shown in the I told in the schematic way, that is the diagram, this it is written in the case of a in language it is written. Generally concentration so corrosion it happens when metallic object is immersed in partially immersed in a electrolyte, remaining part it is in exposed into that of air. Okay, which is oxygenated part act as a cathode and the immersed part act as a anode. So in this you can see the reaction it will be. Okay, so for galvanic corrosion, pitting corrosion, crevice corrosion, concentration cell. Then another type of corrosion it is the water line corrosion. You can see here the water line is a water tank. Okay, on top of it, because a certain level, whenever always you can see the water is present in the certain level of the water tank. Okay, so after some days you can see the sideways of this tank. Okay, it is corroded. Okay, so generally nowadays we don't use much the this metal kind of tank, but it replaced due to this corrosion. We replaced with some the polymer and other related plastic related materials. Okay, so in that case, in the those who still which are we are using, that is the steel water tank. Generally, the oxygen concentration above the water it act as a cathode and below it act as a anode. So similar way the reaction it will happen and the corrosion product it is forming. You can see here the another image of a water pipe, water pipe, the pipe connection it is there. As you see, just periphery of it means the periphery of the water pipe is get deposited some of these rusting materials. First, initially to start from the periphery, then slowly it will get jammed or get stuck in that. Then it will come this the middle of the your pipe. This waterline corrosion is mainly enhanced in the increased in the case of a in the seashore area, that is the marine areas. Why it is happening? Because there is a saltness, it is more, and due to this, and also there is a increases the enhances the corrosion reaction. So that's why it's also you can see in the case of a waterline corrosion. And whenever we are constructing anything, constructing any material, any site or building or the any bridge, depending on that weather condition, whether it is a seashore area or it is a not in the non or it is a not seashore area, depending on that, the total the civil construction or the engineer, they have to design it in taking into consideration that what is the area or what is the requirement is needed. Okay, so those things we will discuss little bit about the cement. Your the next topic, next chapter, where the cement topic is there. In that, based on the different area, we choose different kind of cement materials. It may be a Portland cement or it may be a other kind of cements. It depends on the which area. Whether as you know, is a Bhopal, it is a Madhya Pradesh mostly don't have. Do we have any seashore area? Means sea is present in the MP.
Oh man.
Yes, so there is this climate is totally different than that of your the eastern investor, that is the Goa, and also you can see in the case of a Orissa, Kerala, and Andhra Pradesh and West Bengal, that area, this one seashore areas. Okay, so based on that also total the materials of the construction materials it varies. Okay, mostly in this waterline corrosion, it increases the in case of marine areas. Then you discuss about the what is the stress corrosion. You can see in this images in this case what is the stress corrosion. Any material, okay, any material. If you, for example, I am making a stainless steel materials. Okay, stainless steel manufacturing is doing that. So in that case, if you have a such a alloy kind of things is there, in that case there is a little bit of little bit of impurity. For example, if some sand or something it is there, if it is fall into that, so the total properties or the smoothness of this property it will be completely changed. Why it is happen? Because of this impurity particle present, it creates stress. Okay, so that is called this is the stress corrosions. This corrosion develop mainly during the manufacturing, quenching, bending, and healing and welding processes of the the industries. Means mainly the MSME sector. Okay, and different types of stressing also is there, different based on the where material, which material is there, where the stressing it is happening. So different types you can see. That is the season cracking, which is present the copper alloy. Okay, where it is this brass formation in the copper and zinc exposed to that of copper amine and zinc amine, which leads to a crack formation. Okay, आप देखे होंगे, ये आपका एनालॉजी आप उसी समय कंसिडर कीजिए जैसे कि आप एक पैडी फील्ड में है, आप की एक पैडी फील्ड में जा रहे हो, वहां पर देखिए कि जब भी आपका क्या राइस उगता है तो तभी देखो कितना वो पानी, मतलब कि वो फील्ड कितना हरा भरा होता है. जब भी आपका सीजन चला जाएगा ड्यूरिंग द समर सीजन, you can see there is crack portions are there. Similarly thing we can see in the case of a any of this the metal casting. Okay, there is a lot of things. Metal casting means you can see the preparation of those any of the metal. In that you can see different kinds of cracks. You see the porosity it is there, coarse masoning marks, fatigue marks, coating defect, pit. So based on this different types of different types of corrosion, there is a different things they are available. Okay, so here just only I have mentioned only one such is the season cracking is there mentioned. I did not discuss much about it. If you need to further information, then I will give you the what is the different types, where you can see, and how you can reduce it. So those things we will be discuss according to your requirement. Okay, so then it comes to our the another type of. Okay, so this you can see the case of this the case of galvanic corrosion, pitting corrosion, and then galvanic pitting, crevice, concentration, waterline, stress corrosion, and in case of this the soil corrosions. Soil corrosion also it will be happen like that, depending on that the which area is having the more water and which is not having the more. Based on that there will be the cases you can different types of reaction. When ultimately we can get the corrosion it happens, and we will be eh, discuss other maybe I will because soil corrosion I have not mentioned it here. Yeah, this is the soil corrosion. I thought I have not mentioned, but here it is that is the soil corrosion. Mostly soil corrosion we can see in the case of a आपका जो भी जो कुछ pipe and we place in the under under the soil. Okay, mostly you can see this kind of this is the under the soil. That means it will be underground soil. Depending on the soils, it contains very different kind of elements are there. Many element and minerals, moistures are there. In that minerals, you will see different compounds, many different compositions are there. So that's why there will be a creation of the different concentration or potential you can get it. Okay, let us read it and then we will discuss. This is the underground soil corrosion it has been in the case of which remain in the constant contact of the soil, moisture and salts. So that's why it easily get corroded. The corrosion of the metal articles, party pipelines which takes place due to the electrochemical attack of moisture and salts present in the soil is called the soil corrosion. In specific way, I will explain in that what uh, are the most common form of soil corrosion we are come across that we will discuss in this latest slides. Okay, the what is the what parameter, the factors involved for the soil corrosion? This, as I told you, the soil having the many types of elements, that is the mineral content, acidity of the soil, content of the organic matter, content of the electrolyte, microorganism, and also the physical properties. Due to this, there is a difference in the potential it is happening, that is the electrochemical contact it is happening. So electrochemical setup it is created. One is act as a cathode and another anode, and the connecting media in form of a liquid or the semi liquid form. So that's why the soil corrosion you can see that. Okay, apart from this all this corrosion we have already discussed in case of the water purification, that one, that the caustic embrittlement, boiler corrosion. Okay, that also you can know about it. Already I have discussed, so I don't want to discuss here again. Okay, so we got to know what is electrochemical corrosion, what are the types of electrochemical corrosions. Okay, so now you will want to know about it. This what are the chemical, physical electrochemical or surrounding environment depends on this the electrochemical corrosion. अगर अब एज्यूम करो कि आपके सिर्फ कुछ कुछ भी गैस नहीं है, कुछ एयर मैंने एम्बियंट एयर भी नहीं है. एम्बियंट एयर मीन्स there is a no surrounding. If you consider in earth and the space, do you think that in the space the metal can be corroded? Yes students. जैसे कि यहाँ पर हमारे एर्थ में अभी भी बोल रही कि एटमोस्फेयर है, डिफरेंट layers of atmospheres are there, okay? Troposphere, stratosphere, ionosphere, mesosphere, and all these atmospheres are there. So my question is that in the space outside of the earth, okay, means if I want to go to the Mars or maybe moon, in that surface, do you think that corrosion can happen? आप आप लोग तो इतना भी देख रहे होगे कि जान रहे होगे कि आज और कल कितने सारे सैटेलाइट हम भेजते रहते हैं, मतलब आउटर स्पेस को सैटेलाइट जाता है from this by NASA, ISRO. It is not full page, but yeah, it is some of this Indian, okay, international, that is the National Space Organization, is America, International Space Station, so many are there, okay, Ukraine, many places. I think as per I know the 4 or 5 space station are there. There we can launch the rocket and this goes to the outer space. So is there it possible, because in the environment, in the our earth, we have a atmosphere there. In this the air it is there, okay, that means nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen, the some percentages are there. So due to this different corrosion, different gases are there, so that's why it will be corrosion, it happens. But if some other planet or some other outside of the outer space, means outer space in other than this earth, if that space or that place has some environment, then it will be corroded. If it is, because space means generally it is a vacuumless, okay, vacuum free, that means generally it don't have any such kind of atmospheres are there. The chances are, as per, if means though in the Mars and the other planet we have discovered that there is a some content of water is there. If water moisture there, then chances are there. Wherever the moisture and the other gases are not present, then definitely the corrosion it will not happen. This much I am sure about it. So now we will discuss about that. What are the factors it influence the electrochemical corrosions? This one you can Deepak Devang Jain. Devang Jain. Pratik Gupta. Saurabh Kushwaha. आशुतोष झा, निकिता सिंह, जिन जिन लोगों ने मैंने नाम ली हूँ, उन लोगों ने अगर रिप्लाई नहीं दिया है उनका एब्सेंट है. कृपी गुप्ता, अगर आप अटेंड हो, आप अटेंड ना करो ना, मतलब नहीं है कि मैं बाउंड नहीं कर रही हूँ. तो अगर आप अटेंड कर रहे हो, रिप्लाई दो. कैमरा ऑन कीजिए. आशुतोष झा.
यस मैम.
Yes, other students, आपका जो मैंने लास्ट 2 क्लास में पहले बताया था ना, आपको कैमरा ऑन करना है. कैमरा ऑन न करो तो रिप्लाई तो आई कैन गेट टू नो दैट वेदर यू आर in front of laptop or doing something else. ठीक, जिन लोगों का नहीं है तो फिर I don't want to consider always. 1 or 2 day it's okay, I can ignore it, but every time it will be like this. Okay, then it comes to this, what are the factors influencing the electrochemical corrosion? The factor, it is the what nature of the metal it is, that metal and metal alloys, what everything, what is the nature, whether this is a pure metal or other thing. Pure metal in the sense, purity means you will see 100%, but from the ore we get it, the pure metal we get it. But whenever do the purification process, you cannot get the ultimately 100% purity, it will be not get. Okay, the some percentage generally. Yes, student. Generally, we see in the case of a 90%, 90. What is the after decimal? After decimal, what are the significant number? It is written 99.99, 999, 99.99, 99.95, 99.0. Okay, whatever the bracket it is written, the further numbers are there. So which one is the pure material? Those having the most number of significant number after decimal. Okay, so in that case, this will be very much depend. It will be the corrosion. It happens very. It depend very less, because its impurities are not present, so it will not act as any medium or any of this electrochemical set of it cannot be created. So that's why it depends on the purity of the metal. Physical state of the metal means whether it is a crystalline size, whether the physical property state means the crystallinity property, means whether it is a kind of grain size or it is a powdery kind of things. Okay, then एरिया अंडर स्ट्रेस इज एनोडिक, मीन्स अभी जो आपने जो में कुछ जैसे कि मशीनरी पार्ट है, देयर इज ए मेनी बेंड्स जॉइंट्स. ओके, as I have discussed in the case of boiler corrosions, boiler industries, there will be different types of bends are there. If bends are more, then in that case your the scale formation, that is the hardest substance is more. Okay, so that in that case corrosion, it also depends on the your design of the setup, how the design, whether it is a extra design means some band, and to mostly the engineering design in such a way that it should not be any harmful, I mean, any such little minute to minute effect, harmful effect, it should not be there. So in that case, the engineering design, they require it. The nature of the oxide films. Nature of the oxide films means, as I have discussed in the dry corrosion. Okay, dry corrosion I have discussed one case, molybdenum. Whenever molybdenum metal, when it comes in contact with the molybdenum oxide, which is a vaporized state, it is a volatile. So in that case, it will be increases the corrosion properties. Then it is the position of galvanic series, means in the galvanic metal and metal alloys are there. If it forms a galvanic couple, in that case it will be case of the corrosion rate will be high. Relative areas of the means anode and cathode. Then this, according to in that so many things it matters to for your the influencing the electrochemical corrosion. Also the solubility of the product of the corrosion, volatility of the corrosions, all these things it enhances the only or the electrochemical corrosion. So I have discussed only the nature of metal. What other cases will be there? It depends on the other parameter is that the surrounding. That means what is the nature of the environment. As I told you, in the case of a marine areas, means it will be the seashore area. Definitely there is a chances of the corrosion, it increases. Similarly, what is the temperature and what is the amount of humidity, and how it, if different kind of based on the different environment, it changes to the if different pH level it is there. So in that also it matters. Nature of the electrolyte. Okay. Then conductance of the corroding medium means it will be the conductance, how fast then an electron can move. Okay. Also, it depends on the formation of oxidation, oxygen concentration cell, presence of the suspended particles, presence of impurity. So there are so many parameters which increases the or which influences the electrochemical corrosion. You know, broadly we have discussed only two. That is the nature of the metal. In the nature of the metal, then second you can call it the nature of the environment. So if we get control this kind of this kind of properties, the kind of materials, then in that case, to some extent, we can reduce it. Okay, some extent we can reduce the corrosion. Okay, so now we will know about that. What are the protection we need to do that? In which way our material or the metal surface can be avoided to corrode it. Okay, so that is called this the protection against the corrosion. What is the protective measure we will take to against this corrosions? Okay, mostly the as you know that the corrosion it happens due to the presence of moisture, means water content in it. So generally we to avoid it to comes in contact with the water, we generally have a coating on it, means painting, generally very basic things. Even also we do the for the house. Okay, now very kind of many different kind of paints you can see in the advertisement. Nerolac paint, Tata paint, this blah blah paint you can see. So they show they kind of the outer cover, means after whenever weather changes, means rainy to summer to this one, the color paint of the color of the paint it changes according to this, your house also look bad. So in that similar way, for the protection of our the metal surfaces in the case of industries, we need to do the coating or the say. Apart from the coating, what are the other measure we should take so that it can be avoided corrosion? So one such case is that modification of the environment, means we change the environment. For example, you can, if you in the chimney case, mainly in the industries, okay, in the industries which having the high temperature chimneys, from the chimneys some gases are remover, okay, remove very toxic gases. If that gases it can be reduced or converted into some harmful useful less harmful gases, then in the environment it will not goes into that. So in that way it can be reduced, the environmental corrosion can be reduced. Environment corrosion in the sense, in the indirect way I am telling that. So in the, if you goes to the some in the nearby areas, the contact of these toxic gases, it will not be much effect on the other systems. Okay, so that is the removal of the corrosive stimulant and use of corrosive inhibitor. Then second case is the modification of the properties of the metal. That means nature of the property. Initially, as you nature of the or the properties of the metal. That means physical state, area, relative position of the galvanic cell, solubility, volatility, all these things if we take it, if we change it, then it can be modification of these properties of the metal. How it can be? We can do the alloying, means instead of copper and zinc, if you 100 and 50%, if I change some of the 50% of the another metal, the copper, zinc and aluminum, if I take it, so there is a chances is that the aluminum it will not be corroded. Why? Because Al2O3 it is forming. On top of it, aluminum it will form a coating. As this aluminum oxide it is stable, so that this on that surfaces the corrosion, it will not happen. Okay, refining, that means you get the substance very pure metal. Okay, as I told you, in this case the purity of this one 99.999, 99.99. Okay, so if you increase the purity of the metal, then there is a chances of the corrosion will be less. Similarly, for the annealing means we do the heat treatment at high temperature, and annealing generally the stuff in presence of heating the substances at high temperature with some environmental, with some gases. Okay, so that is called this annealing, this one. So it is the properties of the metal properties, modification of the properties of the metal. Then it comes to this use of a protective coating. That means we can do the metallic coating, inorganic coating, or the organic coating. Means depending on the which type of our metal, base metal is there. Based on that, we may coat any oxide layer coating, or maybe a paint coating, or some of the polymer coating we can do it. So based on that base metal, it can be protected. Okay, so rest of the three, that is cathodic protection and the material selection and other, we will discuss in the next class. Okay, so rest of the maybe very 10 minutes it will be taking. Then we will be discuss the other chapters of it. But before that, please, I request you, I beg you to go through little bit. At the last moment, night out you don't do, or copy paste you don't do business. I know you. This is the corona case, but still, the academic, it will not stop. At least you learn something, even if 20%, 30%, if you are learning, that also is sufficient. I am not telling that you learn 100%. 100%, I am not telling that you night out when every day you do. Though every household, some of the other problem you have. In my home, means very close relative who already expired, very nearby people. Similarly, I know that what is the situation. These things I agree. I know it. More or less, I know that the situation. But this is your the building career time. It is there. If you this time, if you not little bit in the observing yourself, so you will be very difficult to make it. So please, any help, anything you can discuss. If you are in the silent mode, then I cannot know that what is happening in your side. I cannot know that one. So please discuss, please interact. Okay, without interaction, nothing will happen. I don't know that whether my teaching is not reaching you, or there is something lacking behind this one. Is the according to your wish, I can change your teaching pattern. Yes, anybody can give the comment. I agree. I am welcoming you to give the comment. Yes, students. यहाँ पर भी साइलेंट है क्या? रिप्लाई दीजिए.
No, ma'am, it's fine with us.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it is fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything, any comment, anything. So I'm just, because it will be whatever I will learn from this, so that other student can benefit. Okay, not this semester, the further semester, whoever will come, so that I can make a bridge between that, so that the one, because we can learn something. Even if 20-30%, generally in general 60% is learning is okay, but during age it is a corona period, if you 30% learning, that's okay, because in the age years passes, you will learn by yourself, because according to your maturity level we will learn it. But at least you can maintain at least 30%, any subject 30%, because it is beyond the minimum. I'm just telling that. Okay, then all the best and do take care yourself and your family. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Attendance हो गई क्या attendance?
काम की बात।
Attendance हो गई थी क्या? कब ले ली?
तो जानी चाहिए थी यार।
अबे यार मैम टारगेट कर रही है यार।
Attendance ली कब ये तो बताओ।
अरे अभी अभी ली थी, स्क्रीन पे कर्सर वो हो रहा था, मूव हो रहा था।
ओके ओके।